going on, guys? It's Hank here. Got Mr. 2.0 with us today, and we wanted to do something different today in a video. So what we're going to do is explain how reselling works from a store aspect as well as
a reseller's aspect.
And hopefully this will be very informative for you guys. We get a lot of questions, ton of DMs. Don't you get a lot of DMs too?
What's a DM?
Direct message.
Yes. Yes.
We get a lot of this goofball. We get a lot of messages asking us about reselling and what to do, what not to do, etc., etc. So today we are going to go ahead and explain some things to you. All right, guys. So a lot of people ask me what's good to move in the store, what's good to buy, etc., etc. So for us, first things first is a Jordan 1 mid. I know a lot of people have this disagreement about Jordan 1 mids, but mids move very well for us in the store, and they're very affordable too. A lot of mids, when they come out there, you can get them for hitting for retail. If you're smart, you'll work the apps such as FLX, Finish Line, stuff like that to gain coupons and take money off each shoe. So that's a good way to look at it. So you could take a shoe that's 120, 130, take it down to 110. A lot of people I know, they come into the store, bring us a lot of like this, general releases, stuff that doesn't technically move well for them. And you kind of have to watch the market and obviously kind of like watch how different things move. A lot of general releases lately have been coming in the store, been flooding the store. And we have to turn people away because it's just not something we want to buy because we have plenty of. But for us, believe it or not, mids have a better margin than any of the general releases that have been coming out lately. A lot of our mids, believe it or not, we sell at like 200 bucks, regardless if it's a new release. I know some of you are gonna gripe, oh my God, it's 200 bucks, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but again, you guys have to keep in mind that we have overhead, we have to pay rent. Our rent is expensive now since we moved to the new spot, as well as, you know, other financial obligations that we have to take care of. A lot of people want us to travel and stuff like that. A lot of the general releases have been coming out lately. The markets are only going for maybe 10, 20 bucks over retail, sometimes 30. So you have to really pay attention to what's going on. If you're really smart and you're able to work with your capital, I would always invest in something like this first for something like this. Because in 6 months, 8 months, these mids tend to go up, and you can probably get about 200 bucks for a mid. And then this could be still sitting at like 260, 280. So if you really want to look at the numbers sometimes, like something that is expensive like this, people will buy more of, and you can technically make more money. As far as this, sometimes, and lately I've been seeing it a lot more, where this shoe or other general release shoes tend to sit more, and you're only going to make $20 or $30 over profit. So if you really want to maximize your capital, as far as a store aspect, I say, you know, buy low, sell high. It's a joke, because you know we always say we buy low, sell low, but nonetheless, I would always invest in a mid. I know stores that sell sometimes mids at 250 to 300, as well as general release stuff for the same thing. But margin-wise, this is a better margin item as far as our store, and I've seen in other stores that I've talked to versus something like this. So now we'll have Henry 2.0 come in, and he's going to talk about. Well, first, I think you have some questions for me, right?
Yeah. So actually, no, let's go into like a reseller's aspect.
So he's going to tell you about the reseller aspect. I'm going to step aside and let him talk about that.
All right, guys. So one thing I used to do when I didn't co-own Sneaker Tech, and before I worked at Cam's Kicks, I was just a reseller on Instagram. So I used to loop, and that means I just go mall to mall, see what they got. And you know, when you go mall to mall, you might run into a Fusion 1 sitting for retail after maybe like a month or two after it comes out. I wouldn't buy the shoe because if you look at StockX, it probably goes for retail. So if you're paying retail, like, you're not going to profit if it only goes for retail. Shoes like this, when they came out, there were so many pairs and they were only going for like 20 bucks over retail, but what's it been, like a year now, and it's a $400 shoe. So if you had the capital, which Hank was saying, it's kind of hard to buy these when they came out because it was 200 bucks, and then if you have sales tax, it's 212. But a mid is always like 100 or 120 bucks. But this shoe right here, as a reseller, like anybody will buy from you. A store will buy from you. a client will buy from you. This shoe can, you know, build your clientele. The only problem is if you don't have a lot of money to invest in it, you know, your inventory will just be a whole bunch of, you know, mids up until you start getting the more premium shoes. A shoe that just came out recently was the Del Sol 13s. Now the color blocking is very good. It's all white and yellow, so it looks good, but the problem is it's a Jordan 13. Jordan 13s don't really have much hype. So if you look at, you know, the apps, they might go for 20 bucks over retail. So do you really want to put in all that work, get in your car, drive to the mall, enter raffles, win the shoe for retail, plus pay sales tax just to sell it for 20 bucks more? And if, you know, that person you thought you was going to flip it to doesn't buy it and flakes out on you, then you have to take payout on StockX, which is less than retail. So shoes like, you know, the 13s and then the Jordan 1s that aren't the, like, the reds, the blue colors, I would stay away from.
All right, Mr. 2.0, I got a few questions for you from a reseller aspect. What are some Jordans that you, when you would loop, you would find to want to hold?
So the purpose of looping to me is like, what can I find that's available that's, you know, after release day? You always want to look for a Jordan 1.
Highs, mids, or lows?
Actually, the lows, like the Bretto lows, that's a good one because it's black, red, and white. You always want to get Jordans that the colors are like the colors of a Chicago uniform that Jordan wear or would have played in. But if it's not, it's got to be like a crazy collab Jordan, like a Travis Fragment, but you don't find those like at malls.
Well, I want to speak on that real quick about hype shoes and stuff like this. So for instance, this is a hype shoe, considered a hype shoe. This is the Dunk High Fragment, but this doesn't have much of a resale value at all. And a lot of people say it's because of the quality and stuff like that. So again, when you're looking for stuff for yourself, as I used to be a reseller that did it out the back of the basement, as you guys are well aware of. But like stuff like this, you would find you have to be very careful to make sure you're not investing in something that's going to be a dud. This right here was a complete dud. I mean, it had a lot of hype behind it.
I flipped one pair. So the reason I flipped it, I got exclusive access on sneakers. So I got my pair 2 weeks before it came out, and I sold it for $250 shipped. If I got it like release day or after, I would have profited.
Probably would have took a hit, right?
Yeah.
Same with this, like, yeah, like Jordan 1s, everybody wants to say the death of Jordan 1. It's not so much the death of Jordan 1, it's just the quality that's coming out.
But
and
also
the colorways.
The color, like, how do you match that? I don't have anything I can wear with that, so.
This is true. This is an ugly shoe.
Alright guys, so when the Jubilee 11s came out, they were going for retail, but it's a Jordan 11, it's black, easy to wear, easy to match. I was like, it's going to be worth $300 minimum. So it was just more of a shoe that if you could invest, I think this one they made it like $220 or $225. So, you know, in Maryland we got sales tax. That you're paying, I think retail was like almost $240 for this. And it's just such a heavy investment for a reseller, yeah. If you only had like what, $300. So this is one shoe is like all your money. You have like a little bit for gas and lunch.
See, for us as a store, and you've kind of noticed this now that the trends is a lot of people want what the newest release is for us, regardless of the style and condition. Like we've sold a few of the Fusions, we've sold a few of we've sold plenty of these recently. But the thing is that for the store, I buy when he buys what's best for the store and not for the reseller. Now, as a reseller, and you guys got to keep in mind that you have to know your market. He knows his market very well, so like when he buys stuff, he's buying specific things all the time. And actually, I tend to back off on it because, you know, that's something he's getting. So when he brings that into the store, I kind of back off, and then I get stuff, he gets mad at me. For instance, Obsidian 13s, they sell very well in the store. I think it's a dope colorway.
Yeah,
like
I
he
would
said
never
about
buy an Obsidian 13,
right,
but it's somehow we sell them here. So.
But again, speaking on the 13s, as an overall sneaker in the culture world, like the hypes don't really buy this shoe. So for us, you know, we'll buy it and try to, you know, make a little money off of it. So again, I don't want anybody to sit here and say, well, that's not true. This is solely opinionated. Like, it's based on what we do in the store and what he's done on the side.
And our experience.
And our experiences with it. So, I know when I was actually reselling at the back of the basement, you know, I was big on buying used shoes. When I came into the store, and you guys noticed I wasn't buying used shoes at all. And now used shoes is one of the things we find the most, because they do move well. And with used shoes, you can get it at a certain margin, clean it up, and you can try to make a lot more money off it. Shout out to Cam for that. He actually taught me that, believe it or not. Like, he was talking, like, he was really big on getting the shoes cleaned and looking pristine.
Like, the thing about the used shoes, like, people gotta understand, I don't be feeling like cleaning them. So we'll buy it, make the money off of it, but it's just like, how can I explain this? Well, if we have to buy used shoes that we gotta clean, we'll buy it for less than a pair that's like ready to be put on the shelf. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I know we say it all the time, we buy used for low. It's kind of one of the reasons why we do buy used for low, is because we don't want to clean it. That's probably why it moves so well, because we price it lower than maybe some of the. I've seen used shoes at market prices. There's stores that do that at market prices for used shoes, and then obviously they're brand new, it's above market, which is nothing wrong with that. You know, they're adapting to their demographics. But for us, like, to sit on the used shoes, off to the right is a whole bunch of used shoes, and some of those have been here for a long while. I think some of you've had since you started.
Well, some of these used shoes we have is I got from bad mystery boxes. So if you're a reseller, don't buy mystery boxes, because if you only can move a Jordan 4 and a Jordan 11, a mystery box can be any type of shoe. So if you know you can't sell any and every shoe, just always buy those shoes. That makes sense, right?
I agree. And we do sell mystery boxes, but also when I sell mystery boxes, and a lot of stores probably don't do this, I try to get information, try to develop a relationship with this person, because at the end of the day, I don't want to make them a mystery box of stuff they can't move. I want to be able to make them a mystery box of stuff they can. So I do kind of ask the questions sometimes, and sometimes they'll give me feedback as well, which is always good, because obviously I want them to come back and continue to buy. So for us, we try to develop the relationship where we can definitely have that mutual, hey, this is what's good for me, what's not. I know I have a couple clients that only want dunks, so when we do make the Dunk DS boxes, I hit them up and they immediately pay. I do have the clients that want just Yeezy boxes. I have the clients that want Jordan 1 boxes. So, and then there are other clients that say, hey, I want older stuff. So, like, for us, it's a win-win for us. So I know those clients right away, they'll want to buy the box, we'll sell it to them, and, you know, we'll continue that business relationship. But to be honest with you, I've seen a lot of videos, and unfortunately I've been a part of some of them where they were, you know, in previous businesses where mystery boxes have not panned out. And I think you've seen that too. And
I have some on my YouTube channel.
Yeah. So that's why, like, when we buy a mystery box from the store, you know, we have fun with it, stuff like that.
So I would say, as a reseller, like on your own, only buy mystery boxes if you have extra money. Because if you can't move that, like if you can't move those shoes, at least you have more money to buy other stuff that you can move while you're currently working on moving those tougher shoes.
So would you say, you know, it's great when you're coming into this culture and this game, the sneaker culture and the sneaker game, to make sure having some capital behind you and not just kind of free throwing it, so to speak?
So this is what helps me. Well, this is what I recommend. I had a job and I was a reseller. So as long as you have a job and people aren't buying your shoes that you're trying to flip, you're still going to get income. But if you're trying to survive solely off reselling, it's not going to work unless you have a store, because there's some days you don't want to work, there's some days I don't want to work, and if you have a team, you can get it done. But if you're one man running a whole store, good luck.
So it's kind of funny that you mentioned that, because when I was trying to like officially like start reselling full time, what I would do in between meetups and all that stuff, I would sit there and do DoorDash and deliver groceries.
You did DoorDash?
Yeah, I did DoorDash.
Did you eat the food?
No, I've delivered it to the wrong houses a few times. Sorry guys, I'm not.
So I know you didn't get no tip.
No tips sometimes, but it was okay. It was a learning experience, and it helped me grow to be like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to be able to follow my passion. And obviously a couple months later, Sneaker Tech was born. So, well, it wasn't born, but came a dream come to reality. So I really agree with you. I think you definitely need to have some capital when doing this. Because like for me, like I'm kind of going to be, how should I put this? Playing devil's advocate, because what I used to do is buy mystery boxes, keep one, hold it, and then sell the rest to try to make my money back. So if I bought $1,000 mystery box.
But the reason it worked for you because you're not a Mickey Mouse reseller.
This is true. I'm a very experienced reseller.
You know a lot of people.
I do know a lot of people, and I can reach out to those people and those demographics. But it's not always using the apps, so to speak, like StockX and Go, but also like I would utilize eBay, Facebook Marketplace, Facebook groups. Like all those tools are at your disposal. It's just that obviously you got to be safe, sound, and kind of do your research when you're selling.
There's another thing you could have did. You could have went to sneaker conventions to sell pairs as well.
You know, I never went to sneaker convention to sell pairs until I went to the Just Nice sneaker convention. Shout out to Just Nice. And that was actually my first time I actually did a convention, and this was a couple years ago, and I like literally sold out in 4 hours.
Yeah, I started going to sneaker cons, so I started going to the biggest shows. So that just motivated me to like, you know, get pairs, try to get a table, because I was in the mosh pit, you know, with everyone else, the trading pit. But I did good. SneakerCon New York, I did like $3 grand. My first hour, I took great shoes, and there's resellers. I think the people I sold to said they consign pairs, so they can pay resell to me, and then consign their pairs. So.
Yeah, a lot of times now there's stores that do consignment. So if you guys are looking for make a little extra capital, you get something at retail such as this, and you can definitely go ahead and take it to a consignment shop and let them do the job for you. Yeah, you'll pay a fee, but overall, I think it's great for you to try and do that.
Hopefully it's some good stuff. Film it or not? Oh wait, no, because we'll just fast.
He just came wrong. All right, guys, so that pretty much wraps it up. We'll try to do a little bit more of these going forward to kind of be more informative to you guys. But just a few things to remember. If you're starting out reselling, obviously try to have some capital to back you up. Always do your research. I would also say utilize Facebook groups to try to maximize your profit, as well as like marketplace, sneaker shows, stuff like that.
I would say know your market. Our store's in York, PA, so certain shoes sell in York. If you live in Chicago, you're probably selling a lot of Jordans. But I think if you live in Cleveland, I wonder if LeBron's is flying there.
I don't know.
So just know your market. We know our market. That's why we're doing well.
If you're from Cleveland, message us and see what sells down there. I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, and I've never been to Cleveland, so I would love to go to a show out there. So if y'all hosting any, let us know.
Definitely. Oh, Steve comes back to Cleveland.
Okay.
Or if LeBron comes back to Cleveland. With that being said, guys, why don't you subscribe, like, and comment down below what's your favorite part. What was the most informative part for you guys? And what we'll do is give you a Cash App, $25. We've been doing this lately. It's been phenomenal. People love it, and I appreciate you guys showing your support. And obviously, I want to give back to you guys. So, one random person will be selected for $25 Cash App. All you have to do is those 3 simple things. What are those 3 simple things again? He doesn't know because he wasn't listening. This is why it's important that you guys need to make sure you get this down. Subscribe, like this video, comment down below what was your favorite part and what was most informative of this video, and obviously comment your Cash App so I can pay the one random person. With that being said, guys, God bless you, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.
All right, so when the Jubilee of the Liberty Mutual.
So it's kind of funny that you mention that. What was the crazy look? So it kind of reminds me.
Fucking